Welcome to my channel! Learn with Teacher Ali!
Matatag Curriculum, Math, Grade 1, Quarter 3, Week 2. And our topic is about organizing and presenting data using tables and pictograph. Let's start. Day 1. Present data in horizontal and vertical pictographs without the use of grids. Using the given data, construct a vertical pictograph about popsicle ice cream sold in a week at the canteen. Here is the vertical pictograph about popsicle ice cream sold in a week at the canteen. Good job! Students, what kind of pictograph did we construct or make? Good job! So here is the example of a vertical pictograph. And here is an example of a horizontal pictograph. Now, what are the similarities and differences of the two pictographs? Good job! Today, we are going to learn how to present data in horizontal and vertical pictograph without using the grid as guide. Here are some words that we could tackle during our lesson for today. Now, let us learn how to present data in horizontal and vertical pictographs without using the grid as guide. This time, we will construct pictographs both horizontal and vertical without using the grid as their guide. But first, let us read the problem below. 30 roses of different colors were sold in a flower shop. The results are as follows. Roses sold in a flower shop. For color, we have red, which is 11 roses sold. White, 4. Yellow, 6. Pink is 9. Our key here is rose, which is equivalent to 1 learner. Now, let's have a group activity. Divide the class into 4 groups. 2 groups will construct the horizontal pictograph, while the other 2 groups will construct the vertical pictograph. Provide them with a chart drawn on Manila paper, several rose cutouts, and masking tape. Give them enough time to finish their work. So here is an example of the horizontal pictograph group. And for vertical pictograph group. In addition, remind the learners to be careful when aligning the roses. They can think of ways to help them to do this correctly, such as folding or dividing the Manila paper to create straight lines or guides. Move around the room to see how each group is progressing and offer help if needed. When everyone is done, have each group post their work on the board. In the discussion of the outputs, emphasize the proper way of constructing the graphs. Good job, everyone! Students, which of the 2 pictographs they found easier to construct and why? What is the title of the horizontal pictograph? Is the title the same as that of the vertical pictograph? Are the data for each category the same for both graphs? Good job! Now let's have a survey. I will conduct a survey regarding your birth months. Use the table below. birth months of Grade 1 NARA learners. Tell them that you will mention groups of months one at a time, with each group consisting of 3 months. They should raise their hands if they were born in any of those months. Write the number of learners born in each group in the table. Keep the same groupings as before. Tell them this time, groups that constructed a horizontal pictograph before will now construct a vertical pictograph. Groups that constructed a vertical pictograph before will now construct a horizontal pictograph. Provide each group with their assigned chart on Manila paper for their new pictograph along with several smiley cutouts and masking tape. Give the groups enough time to finish their work. Move around the room to see how each group is progressing and offer help if needed. When everyone is done, have each group post their work on the board. In the discussion of the outputs, emphasize the proper way of constructing the graphs. Good job, everyone! Students, can we present the same data in a horizontal pictograph and in a vertical pictograph? How are horizontal and vertical pictographs similar? How are the two graphs different? What should we remember when drawing the symbols or pictures in the pictograph? Now let's do the activity below. 20 grade 1 learners were interviewed about their favorite subjects. The results are shown in the table below. Now let us construct a horizontal pictograph regarding the favorite subjects of selected grade 1 learners. Our key here is smiley, which is equivalent to 1 learner. Then we need also to construct a vertical pictograph. Day 2. To organize in a table the data presented in a pictograph. Now let's do the activity below. 20 grade 1 learners were interviewed about their favorite subject. The results are shown in the table below. So here is the constructed horizontal pictograph. And here is the constructed vertical pictograph. Good job! Students, what do the two pictographs show? Do the two pictographs present the same data? Good job! We learned yesterday that data may be presented in either a horizontal pictograph or a vertical pictograph. Today, we are going to organize in a table the data presented in a pictograph. Here are some words that we could tackle during our lesson for today. Now, let us tackle about organize in a table the data presented in a pictograph. Last time, we have been presenting data based on a table into a horizontal or a vertical pictograph. This time, they will organize in a table the data presented in a pictograph. I will show you a table with an incomplete data. How will you able to provide the number of learners? Now, I have here a horizontal pictograph provided. Let us answer the following question. How many learners said that their favorite subject is language? How did you know? What does one smiley represent? Good job! Now let us count the smiley together, then provide the correct answer. First, let us count the number of learners for the subject language. Now let us count how many number of learners under reading and literacy. And lastly, let us count the number of learners under mathematics. Good job! Students, how many learners said that their favorite subject is reading and literacy? How many learners said that their favorite subject is mathematics? Good job! We can always organize in a table the data presented in a pictograph, horizontal or vertical. I will show you another pictograph. Let's organize the data presented in the pictograph. This is about means of going to school among grade 1 Rose learners. Our key here is smiley, which is equivalent to 1 learner. There are 15 number of learners, which is their means of going to school is walking. Next, we will count how many number of learners, which is using jeepney as their means of going to school. Now, let us count how many learners using tricycle or pedicab. And lastly, let us count the number of learners using car as their means of going to school. Good job! How many learners walk to school? How many ride a jeepney? How many ride a tricycle or pedicab? How many ride in a car? Good job! Students, how can we organize in a table the data presented in a pictograph? Grade 1 Rose learners were asked to name just one household chore they do most frequently at home. The pictograph below shows the data collected. Now let us fill out the table below based on the pictograph above about household chores Grade 1 Rose learners do. Day 3. Illustrate subtraction of numbers with minuends up to 10 using concrete and pictorial models, and describe the result of taking away some objects to the number of objects in a set. Do you help your mother at home? What household chores do you do most frequently at home? Can you please name one? Good job! Today, we are going to read and interpret data presented in a pictograph. Here are some words that we could tackle during our lesson for today. Let us learn about to read and interpret data presented in a pictograph. Okay, let's try this. The grade 1 rose learners were asked to name only one household chore they do most frequently at home. Each learner was asked to give only one response. The pictograph below present the data collected. Students, what kind of pictograph do you see? What is the pictograph about? What are the different household chores that learners do most frequently at home? How many learners sweep floors? How do you know? What symbol or picture was used in the pictograph? What does one smiley represent? Which household chore or chores do most grade 1 rose learners do most frequently at home? How do you know? How can you tell which household chore or chores most learners do most frequently at home without counting? What could be a reason why most learners sweep floors or wipe tables most frequently? Which household chores or chores do grade 1 rose learners do least frequently at home? How do you know? How can you tell which household chore or chores the learners do least frequently at home without counting? What could be a reason why the fewest number of learners wash dishes? How many more learners water plants than wash dishes? How many fewer learners wash dishes than sweep floors? Are there household chores done by an equal number of learners? How do you know? How many grade 1 rose learners were asked about the household chores they do most frequently at home? Good job, everyone! I will show you another pictograph and let us answer the following question. This is about roses sold in the flower shop. What kind of pictograph do you see? What is the pictograph about? What are the different flowers sold in the flower shop? How many roses sold in red color? How do you know? What symbol or picture was used in the pictograph? What does one rose represent? Which color of flowers in the flower shop frequently sold? How do you know? How can you tell which color of flowers in the flower shop frequently sold without counting? What could be the reason why the color red flower is sold most frequently? Which color of flower is sold least frequently? How do you know? How can you tell which color of flower is sold least frequently without counting? What could be a reason why the fewest number of roses is color white? Good job! Pictographs are pictorial representations of data. Thus, it should give information right away such as the greatest number, least number, or equal number without counting the symbols or pictures one by one. Without counting, how do you know which color of rose was sold the most? How about the least? What about colors that were sold in equal numbers? Good job, everyone! Students, what do we read if we want to know what the pictograph is all about? How do we know what the categories are? How do we know what symbol or picture was used? How do we know the value of each symbol or picture? How can you tell which category has the greatest number without counting? How can you tell which category has the least number without counting? How can you tell which categories have equal numbers without counting? And how do we compare the data of the different categories? Now, the pictograph shows the favorite hobbies of grade 1 Rose learners. Day 4. Illustrate subtraction of numbers with minuends up to 10 using concrete and pictorial models, and describe the result of taking away some objects to the number of objects in a set. The pictograph shows the favorite hobbies of grade 1 Rose learners. Our key here is smiley, which is equivalent to 1 learner. Good job! Today we are going to deepen learners' ability to read and interpret data presented in a pictograph. Here are some words that we could tackle during our lesson for today. Let us learn to read and interpret data presented in a pictograph. We will continue reading and interpreting data in a pictograph and answer the following. How do learners go to school? How do most learners go to school? How do you know that most learners go to school by walking without counting? What symbol or picture was used in the pictograph? What does one smiley represent? Why do you think most learners walk in going to school? Which means of transportation do the learners use the least to get to school? Why do you think the least number of learners go to school by car? How many more learners ride the tricycle or pedicab to school than the jeepney? How do you know? How many more learners walk to school than ride the jeepney? How do you know? Good job! Let's have a group activity. Divide the class into 4 groups. Tell them that each group will write 2 questions about the pictograph on the manila paper provided. After some time, have each group post their manila paper on the board. The groups will take turns in asking a question. For example, Group 1 will read one of their questions and then Group 2 will answer. Next, Group 2 will read one of their questions and Group 3 will answer. Then Group 3 will read one of their questions for Group 4 to answer. Finally, Group 4 will read one of their questions for Group 1 to answer. Each group gets 1 point for correctly answering the question asked by another group. Follow the same process for the second questions on the manila paper. You may change which group answers each questions. Ask additional questions to further develop learners' ability to read and interpret data if needed. Good job, everyone! Now let us answer the following. What is the purpose of the title of the pictograph? How do we know the different categories? How do we know what symbol was used? How do we know the value of each symbol? How can you tell which category has the greatest number without counting? How can you tell which categories have equal numbers without counting? And how do we compare the data of the different categories? Based on the given pictograph, answer the following questions. Day 5. First summative test in Mathematics 1. Thank you for listening. End of week 2.
Thank you for watching. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell for you to be updated on our latest videos. See you on our next lesson. Goodbye!